campers. I'm just leaving the Potaywadjo shelter. I tented last night. The bugs were too intense for me to sleep in the shelter, but before I go, I wanted to show you something in the privy of all places. So let's go take a look. There's actually two privies here. Here's potty 2. There's potty 1. So let's go into potty 2 here. So we've got a couple of guys in here. Thought I'd introduce you to. Let's see, where are they? Where are they hiding? Okay, one of them has moved. He's not where he was before, but there's one guy right there. I don't know if you can see that. That's a big old wolf spider. And there's his cousin right there. Big guy. Body's about 1 inch long, and from tip of one leg to the tip of the other leg is probably 2.5 inches, and there was a third one somewhere, but he seems to have disappeared. But anyway, if you're afraid of spiders, this is not the place for you. Okay. So there's the sign for the Potaywadjo shelter, which is behind me there. As you can see, there's the shelter. I did not stay in the shelter. I stayed at a tent site directly across from the shelter. Very nice, very flat, very level, smooth. A little bit rock, small rocks, kind of annoying when you kneel down. Could have been a little softer as far as the surface goes, but better than I expected. Better than most of the shelters in Maine that I've seen. So today I'm shooting for 22 miles. That'll be a combination of 45 miles in 2 days. That's a tall order. Yesterday I did 23.1, and it was a little, I mean, there were some good easy sections. Very smooth, fast hiking, but more rocks and roots and mud and fallen trees and crap like that than I expected. So don't believe anybody who says, oh, 100 mile wilderness, you got some easy hiking once you get past the halfway point. You're a moron, whoever says that, or you have a bad memory. Yeah, there's some stretches that are good, but you're not cruising all the way. There are rocky, rooty, muddy, boggy, water crossings, fallen trees, stuff you have to watch out for. You can't just go on autopilot. You still have to pay attention. So I'm shooting for a tent site called like the Rainbow something campsite. Okay. Just had to, whenever the trail takes a 90-degree turn, I have to go, wait, am I still on the trail? Or is this a side trail? I seem to still be on the trail. Okay, yeah, here's a sign. All right, so that's my goal, 22 miles. If something happens, if I don't make as good a time as I thought I would, okay. Well, anyway, that's ultimately where I'm heading. 32.6 West Branch, Penobscot. So I'm trying to do 22 today, and then I'll have like 10.6 or 10.8, depending on who you believe, tomorrow. So I'm going, oh good, I don't have to cross this water. Look at, that's kind of yucky looking. Well, so anyway, sorry to ramble, but I'm shooting 22 miles for the tent site. That'll put me less than 11 miles from the A-Ball campground, where there's a camp store, and you can do laundry, and you can get a shower, and you can get food. That would get me there probably around lunchtime, or early afternoon anyway, tomorrow. Then hopefully they'll have a tent site available. I think it's like $27 for a tent site. I'm fine. I'll cough up the money just so I don't have to, tent in the woods somewhere and then pack up everything and then race to get to the kiosk, by about 6 o'clock in the morning so I can get in line for one of the spots at the Birch's campsite. So, because that'll be a Saturday that I'll be at Birch's. So, that's my goal. we'll see how things turn out. It's supposed to get rain later today, so it might not be a lot of video, but I'll see what I can do, okay? And I'm wearing my pant legs for the first time in I can't remember when, just because of the bugs. My legs got eaten alive yesterday, and I can hear water crossing ahead. Oh boy, yeah. So I may take the pant legs off if there's a risk of getting them wet, or if it starts raining, because I don't want wet pants. So stuff like this I have to assess, figure out how to get across, without getting wet. So, all right, that's it for now. So I'm, I don't know, maybe 3.5 miles into my hike, and there's been some pretty dicey water crossings. The river is swollen, as you can see. And look at the weeds down there. I mean, they're just underwater. That stuff is usually not underwater. So there's been some boggy stuff, marshy stuff. I've managed to get across everything dry. I've either crossed logs, or just now I bushwhacked a little bit around a spot that I've been up to my shins in water. These weren't marked on the guide, because they don't predict, flooding like this from all the rains we had on Sunday night and Monday. And it's still coming down off the mountains. It's unbelievable. Here it is. It's Thursday. It hasn't rained in over 48 hours, maybe 60 hours, 2.5 days. And it's still flooded. So it's tricky going, but there are ways around a lot of this stuff. It's just another reason why I hate the 100-mile wilderness. It's just a boggy, muddy, wet, nasty, mosquito-infested mess. And also, the trail's not as easy as everyone would have you believe. Overall, yeah, there's some very nice stretches. They're very easy hiking. Still lots of rocks and roots. Still lots of bog crossings, bog boards. A lot of obstacles, a lot of stuff slowing you down. You can't really get a cadence going for very long before something stops you and you have to pick your way across a bunch of big tree roots or rocks, or rock hop across a stream, or across boardwalk across a swampy section. So that's not all it's cracked up to be, folks. Anybody who says, oh, once you get past a certain point, it's smooth sailing. No, it's not smooth sailing at all. Yes, there are some stretches that are good, but they are broken up by a lot of junk that you have to get over and through. Just be prepared for that. Don't think you're going to just stroll your way all the way to Baxter Park, because that ain't happening. So a little while back, I'm walking down the trail and another guy's coming my way. And I look up and I go, Da Vinci? And he looks up, he goes, yeah. And I said, what the hell are you doing going southbound? Are you slack packing this section? He goes, no, yo-yo. And I went, you're doing a yo-yo? And he goes, yeah. And I said, are you an insane person? And he laughed. I said, no, I'm going back south now. And I said, you will never catch me out here again once I get done with this. Never. And he laughed. And then I said, so how's the trail up ahead? He thought for a moment and said, wet. Yeah, I know. So he said when he came through the 100-mile wilderness last week, I guess, he said he never got his feet wet once. He said now, since that rainstorm from Sunday night through Monday, and then again on Tuesday night a bit, he said, my feet haven't been dry since Katahdin. So he's already summited Katahdin and turned around and coming back the other way. Crazy, absolutely crazy. He's a guy, I don't know if I mentioned in another episode, he lost over 100 pounds since he started. So, good for him, but it won't catch me doing this again. So I just saw tech support back there a ways. He had fallen, cracked, I think he said bruised, but probably cracked a rib, or seriously bruised his ribs anyway. Had a black eye, fell, hit his face. He's the third person I've seen with contusions on their face from falling on this trail, just in total. And then he didn't want to do the dangerous section that I did yesterday with, his injuries. So he got picked up by a shuttle at one of the logging road crossings and had them shuttle him ahead to skip over, 20-30 mile section or whatever it was. So that's how he got ahead of me, but I'm ahead of him now because he was stopping to get water. And then he was saying Agony and Chewy, they headed back to the hostel when those rains hit. They got started and then they called it. They said, "We're out. We're bailing. This is getting crazy. It's getting too real out here." So they went back to the hostel. I think they got dropped off again now that the rains have stopped. According to tech support, they're about 40 miles back. So that pushes their schedule back by at least a day. I don't know if they skipped over that section like tech support did, or if they picked up where they left off. But tech support also said he heard stories of some hikers getting hypothermia, which on Monday was a very serious possibility. That's why I cut my day short. I did 7.4 miles that day. I meant to do at least twice that, 15 miles or so. I said I can't do it. My hands are going numb. Numbness is going up my wrist, up my forearm. Can't feel my hands. I'm wet. I'm cold. I don't know how much worse this is going to get. I got to that next shelter and I said, that's it. I'm taking a spot in this shelter. I'm getting out of all my wet stuff. I'm getting into under my quilt. And I'm just getting warm. It took me a couple hours to get warm again, but I did it. So in any event, I just checked my GPS position. I knew I needed to be at least 7 miles in order to have any hope of getting to the campsite I want to get to tonight. And I was 7.1. So I'm right on the edge there. Oh, there's a porta potty. Oh, there's a toilet out here in the middle of nowhere. Okay, I'm not sure where the trail goes right now. So anyway, it's got, okay, here we go. It's gotten kind of real out here. Oh, this is a beautiful spot. I'll shoot some video for you. But in any event, this is tough stuff out here. People are getting hurt. People are getting hypothermic. I think everyone's safe now. The temperatures are back up again. 70s today, but it's supposed to rain later. It's starting to cloud over again. As long as it doesn't get cold, I think we'll be okay. So I'll give you a shot of what I'm seeing right now. Holy crap, that's actually the sun. I haven't seen the sun in 4 days. It just peeked out from a cloud, apparently. Oh, I think it's gone away again. Wow. Well, it lasted about 30 seconds, but that was amazing. I haven't seen sunlight, direct sunlight, in 4 days. I was going to talk about this when I got to the shelter for a break, which I should be at within 20 to 30 minutes, depending on this rain here. But I figure it's more interesting for you to see the scenery behind me as I'm walking. So my plan is this. If I can't maintain about a 2.2 to 2.3 mile an hour pace for the rest of the day, average, then I'll never get to the campsite I'm targeting. I'll never get there by 4. I'll make a decision when I get there. I'll look at the terrain profile, look at comments and gut hook, see if I can't figure out what to expect for that last 4-mile stretch between the shelter and the tent site I'm looking at. I'm hoping to get to the 22-mile mark. If it looks like it's going to take me more than 2 hours to get there, then my cutoff will be 4:30 at the shelter. In other words, if I get to the shelter, oh boy, sorry, there's a steep little thing here. If I get to the shelter later than 4:30, then I'm stopping there. That's it. I'm not going to push myself. It'll give me more time to set up camp and let my tent dry out. Oh boy, it goes this way. Well, that was a crazy thing they just made me do. Jeez. All right, anyway. So that'll give me time to set up my tent, let my tent dry a little bit, although it didn't dry last night. It was wet last night, and it was still wet this morning. There's just so much moisture in the air from that rainstorm. The ground is just saturated. And so, any evaporation that happens from the ground just clings to anything near the ground. So it's just a very damp environment right now. It's like Seattle. You can see behind me all the moss on the mountainside here, the rocks. This terrain is way, way, way more rugged than I was expecting. I was expecting an easy walk. I was expecting, maybe 9 to 10 hours, and I'd be there, for at my tent site, by 5 o'clock. Now, I don't think that's happening. I did 23.1 miles yesterday. Of course, I started at 6:30 in the morning, but I had 3 river crossings, including one that I did some bushwhacking to try to get around. And I took over an hour lunch break, and I still made it 23.1 miles in 11 and a half hours. Today I got a late start. It was 10 of 8. It was 7:50 when I got started. So it was about a half hour, 45 minutes later than I'd planned on. I'm trying to make up for that by taking shorter breaks, but this terrain, there's no way I can maintain 2.3 over this kind of terrain. I can't even maintain 2 miles an hour over this terrain. It's just too rugged and rocky, rooty. This is no different than most of the rest of the trail. So again, if you're thinking of doing the Appalachian Trail, just be forewarned. The last 40 miles before Baxter, the northern 40 miles of the 100-mile wilderness, they are not easier. Yes, there are some easier stretches. I got to climb through a crevasse here or something. I got to squeeze my way through this thing. So anyway, I don't want to stop too long because the mosquitoes come out and they start landing on me. All right, so I'll update you as soon as I know what my plan is. Well, I'm assuming that that's Mount Katahdin hidden by those clouds. This would be my first view of it if I could see it, but it looks like it's pretty socked in up there. So can't see the peak, but I'm pretty sure that's it. It is 16 miles as the crow flies, but it's 35 miles of trail because the trail does not go straight there. Obviously, it winds around through the woods like a snake. So, well, with any luck, 3 days, that's where I'll be. Well, I've resigned myself to the fact that I'm not making it to the tent site I had intended to. At my last stop at the shelter, I looked at the time and I realized I would never make it, especially because I had a mountain to climb, Nahabunta or something, Nantabunta, I don't know, which I'm coming down right now. I realize there's no way I'm going to climb an 1,100-foot ascent, come down the 1,100-foot descent, and then continue on for, another 4 miles or whatever, just to get to the shelter, and then it's another 4 miles past that. This terrain has just been too rocky and rooty. It's slow going, and I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to get into camp too late and be setting up things in the dark. So I'm going to cut my losses short. I decided instead to make use of the extra time up on the top of the mountain that I just came down and order a few things that I need for my southbound journey once I get back to Virginia and start heading to Georgia. A few accessories from Z-Packs and some food accessories. I'm getting some caloric carbohydrate drink mixes to give me more energy during the day. I think that's one of my problems. I'm just not getting enough calories, so if I drink, stuff with glycogen and sucrose and dextrose, whatever the hell they put in it, I'm hoping that'll help fuel me throughout the day. I can put that in my water bottle and drink that. And I got some ghee individual packets to add to my dinners. I've been adding olive oil, but I thought, let me try ghee, because I heard another hiker say that he'd been using ghee and really added some good flavor. And it's, it's just fat. It's the clarified butter. So it's, it's oil. It's got a lot of calories. So anyway, I'm going to try that stuff. And I had a signal up there on the mountaintop. I could see Katahdin, except the very summit was clouded over, which it probably is most of the time. But in the event, I'm headed now to the shelter. I should be there 6:30 in that range, which is fine. It's later than I wanted to get to camp, but it is what it is. I'll be fine.